Hello everyone, panibagong video na naman ang ating matutunghayan ukol sa pamahalaan at isyu na ating kinakaharap ngayon. Ang pag-subscribe mo sa aming channel ay pagsuporta mo na din sa mahal nating Pangulo. Ang layunin ng channel na ito ay ibalita ang dapat malaman ng taong bayan na hindi pinapalabas sa TV at mainstream media. Salamat sa pagsuporta.
Pondo. Go ahead, Dr. Vargas.
Again, the intent of the IRM is really not only for COVID cases, but really because of the effect of the pandemic. That's why po kasama yung ating mga dialysis and even the maternities. Tapos po, there were letters and our attorney is looking
So sino
for
nga
that
daw
right
nag-request sa inyo? Yun ang tanong niya. During the course of the discussion, may nag-request. Isa lang. Sino yung nag-request na healthcare facility?
Did Bron Avitum request for IRM?
I'm not so sure po because the BBRON is an accredited facility. So
Hindi nga, yes or no lang yun eh. Did they request for IRM advances?
They have a letter of intent.
Oh, yun. Meron pala, may request.
Okay, you approve it, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chair, you approve it as well because dumaan sa inyo to according sa inyong policy.
Okay. Just to put order, our colleagues here. Congressman Barsaga, we will not take away the time that we interjected.
Okay. Ang sinasabi natin, sige, magkwentuhan muna kayo. Dr. Bragas, are you ready to answer?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, simple lang tayo. Lagi niyong ginigiit sa publiko at sa amin at sa lahat ng investigasyon, yung IRM is intended for a 4227. Tama ba ako o hindi?
Tama po.
Okay. Pag COVID, March pa lamang, sinabi nyo na, and we agree, that will be a case of 4227. Yes or no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Pero yung dialysis na ginagawa na natin ng napakahabang panahon, that is no longer a 4227. Tama ba ako?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Okay, next question. Kahit na hindi 4227 ang dialysis, sinama nyo sa IRM. Tama o hindi?
Tama po.
Tama. Kaya ang tanong ko, sino ang nag-propose among the executive members na kinoconceptualize nyo ang COVID na isama natin ang dialysis centers? O wala? Oh, you better answer. You are all under oath.
No, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, ano yun natin? Isa-isa yun
Tanong ko,
natin.
may nag-propose ba o wala?
Dr. Vargas, kindly reply.
No, so, iniisip ko lang po. Because again, it was
Hindi nga, ang
discussed
tanong na lamang sa iyo, direct. Kung hindi mo alam, pasensya na kayo, nalimutan ko. So, itatanong na namin yan sa iba.
Mr. Chair, I cannot.
You cannot recall.
O lahat ng SVP, tanongin natin.
Okay, before you
Not
recall,
the SVP.
Honorable Barsaga, kaya po sila nalilito talaga kasi mismo yung letter kay Mr. Morales is on IRM relative to the proposal to implement interim reimbursement mechanism due to COVID-19 public health emergency. The same is within the mandate of Philhealth to implement such as what was done after Yolanda, Super Typhoon, and Marawi siege. Again, the declaration, the details of the IRM should be laid down again for COVID-19. So I guess kaya po nagkakagulo-gulo yung pinipilit natin na hindi lang dito sa ibang sakit, but in all your official letters indicated lahat ng COVID-19.
So, wala, you cannot recall. Ano, hindi mo ma-recall?
Sir, I'm
Okay, baka naman pag tinanong ko yung ibang member ng executive committee, ang sasabihin, Dr. Bragas was the one who proposed that.
Mr. Chair,
Hindi,
again,
kaya nga tinatanong ko lamang. Can you recall? Ikaw ba nag-propose o hindi?
It was part of our computation, sir, for all
Hindi, wag na
accredited
muna tayo
facilities.
mag-compute.
Yes.
Ang pinapaliwanag lang natin, ano ba ang mga sickness na dapat nating isama sa IRM for COVID? Agreed tayo sa COVID. Your purpose is very laudable, tinatanggap yan ng ating mga kababayan. Ang tinatanong nga lang ng karamihan, bakit kasama ang dialysis? Hindi naman to fortuitous event. So sino nag-propose na isama dialysis centers?
Honorable Barsaga, your last question.
Okay. Attorney Santiago, you are a lawyer. Under your lawyer's oath, meron bang nag-propose?
Sir, Mr. Chairman, I don't remember kung sino nag-propose, but
Oh, hindi mo, you cannot remember. What about
that can be taken from the minutes of the meeting, so that can be
baka naman
checked.
wala sa minutes of the meeting siyan.
Ayun, sir, yung ang understanding ko, Mr. Chairman, dun sa discussion is that the intention of the board
No, wag na
is-
yung intention. We know your intention. That is good. Ang tanong lamang, bakit sinama ang dialysis? Sino nag-propose?
Sir, I don't remember kung sino nag-propose,
Oh.
but based on my understanding,
What about Lim Siaco? Is he here? Oh, Lim Siaco. Oh. Hindi mo rin maalala kung sino ang nag-propose na isama dialysis center?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, part of the proposal ng ating
Simple
HCPS,
lang ang tanong ko. Sino ang nag-propose? Not part of the proposal. Sino ang nag-propose na isama dialysis center?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, ang proposal po ay nanggagaling as mentioned kanina ni Dr. Pargas,
Oh.
ay nasa
So
kanilang
sa madaling
opisina po.
sabi, nanggaling kay Dr. Pargas. Do you admit that, Dr. Pargas, that the proposal came from you?
Sir, during the discussion, we were asked, because the part of those who can receive the IRM are all accredited
Hindi nga,
facilities.
simple na.
And so,
Okay,
all of the...
Iisa
Sir-
lamang ang tanong. Sino
Sir-
nag-propose?
Honorable Barsaga, Dr. Pargas, ito po yung inyong board meeting March 30. Ang sabi ni BM
Because
Mercado,
prior, Mr. Chairman,
yes.
because the circular of Dr. Morales was issued as early as March 20. Tama ba?
Yes, Mr.
Oh, so subsequent na yan. Ibig kong sabihin, meron ng circular si President Morales as early as March 20. At now March 20, alam nyo na isasama nyo ang dialysis centers.
Yes,
Tama
Mr.
ba?
Chair.
Kaya nga sino nag-propose?
Sir, we did. The HFPS proposed for
Who?
all the accredited. I
Health
was
policy.
part of the EXICOM, yes, sir.
Dialysis ikaw. Oh, what about the lying in?
Lahat, sir.
Ikaw rin ang nag-propose. Okay.
Honorable Barsaga, I'm sorry.
Okay. Just a moment.
Yes, go ahead.
I'll have my presentation about the dialysis centers. Miss,
With the indulgence of the committee, we will just allow the presentation of the Honorable Barsaga before we proceed to the next interpellator.
saka yung summary lang. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Ayan ang lahat yung dialysis centers na inyong binigyan. Ang tanong ko, bakit merong mga dialysis centers na binigyan kahit merong asunto? Dr. Dr. ano? Oh, meron bang mga dialysis centers na binigyan kahit may pending case sa Philhealth?
May pending case, yes, sir.
Binigyan. Bakit nyo binigyan? Kahit na may kaso.
Actually, we asked that also, sir,
Huh?
but the decision was because it is without prejudice to any of the legal actions that will be taken to against these facilities.
Kaso
And
mo,
I
yan nga ang lagi natin problema eh. Babalikan kita. Lying in. Nagbigay din kayo sa lying in. Sino nag-propose? Ikaw. Okay. You know that the policy of DOH, alam mo na ang policy ng DOH sa mga LGUs ay magtayo ng maraming lying in centers to be operated by the local government unit. Do you know that? Yes or no?
I'm not, sir.
You're not aware? O sino ang nakakaalam dito na ang policy ng DOH ay magtayo ng mga lying-in, ang mga LGU, under your so-called primary care benefit program? Hindi mo alam yon?
Mr. Chair, yes, there are orders, yes.
Matter of fact, pag nanganak sa lying-in, ang binabayad nyo, case rate, 8,000 pesos.
Yet,
Okay. But in a private or public hospital, pag doon nanganak, ang binabayad nyo ay 6,000 pesos.
kapag ka po sa ospital, it's at 6,500. Kapag mga
1,500,
kapag ka po mga lying-in, it's at 8,000.
8,000. Bakit mas malaki sa lying-in?
Kasama po kasi sa prinsipyo nung inilabas yung case rate na yun pong mga cases katulad ng panganganak na normal delivery ay hindi na magpunta sa mga ospital sapagkat ito naman po ay kakayanin nga sa mga lying-in.
Question.
Honorable Barsaga? Yes.
Das Marine, sa lying-in, nagbigay kayo sa private? IRM?
Yes, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
both for government and private.
Oh, bakit sa mga public lying-in, hindi kayo nagbigay ng IRM? Sa mga LGUs na may mga lying-in? Pero sa private, nagbigay kayo sa lying-in?
Mr. Chair, again, all these are open to all accredited and those who will apply.
Pero wag mo sabihin yung accreditation. You are not telling us the truth. Yun namang lying-in na sinasabi kong under your primary care package, lahat yun accredited ng Philhealth. Totoo ba o hindi? You better answer your questions correctly. I was a mayor for 12 years. We operate a public hospital. Kaya nga sa public hospital, laging sinasabi sa akin, kung PD, no balance billing tayo, no out of the pocket expense. Bakit ka ko? Kasi kung babiolate natin yan, tatanggalin ang ating PhilHealth accreditation. We cannot collect from PhilHealth. Pagkatapos makikita ko ngayon, ganyan pala ang nangyayari sa inyo. And these are public funds.
Mr. Chair, we have separate accreditation po.
Oo nga, pero
yes.
hindi mo na naman sinasagot eh. Premise, nagbigay kayo ng IRM sa private lying-in centers.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Oh yes. Kailangan ang tulong. Mga public lying-in, hindi kayo nagbigay ng IRM.
To all accredited lying-in as long as they applied.
Nasa report niyo ba sa amin na nagbigay kayo ng lying-in? Wala sa inyong report. Pati na sa inyong website. Nilagay niyo sa website niyo kung alin ang binigay niyo ng IRM. Lahat ng data kinuha ko sa inyong website. Meron ba daong public lying-in under your present oath?
Mr. Chair.
Honorable Barsaga, you want to wind up?
Is a pending question.
The pending question is kung meron po kayong mga lying-in na binigyan na public.
Mr. Chair, I will have to check our data po.
Mr. Chairman, we have the list eh. We have
Okay.
the list on the 100, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, we have the list of 711 HCIs. At doon sa listahan po ng 711 na pinalabas nyo sa business sa mga dyaryo, wala po ang mga lying-in, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Barsaga?
No, meron silang private lying-in na binigyan.
Yes. Sa public, wala nga daw po.
Public, wala.
Aha.
Meron, wala. Sa public. So, regarding these two issues, you present in writing, next scheduled hearing, paano ba napasama ang dialysis centers? Sino nag-propose? Sino nag-provide? Etc. Bakit sinama kahit na merong mga cases? Sino nag-propose para isama ang mga private lying-in. Although both of them do not cater to COVID. At pangatlo, bakit hindi sinama ang public lying-in? Kung private, pwede tayong magbigay ng IRM, bakit sa public hindi na lying-in? Maraming LGUs ang merong accredited lying-in by Philhealth. They are receiving the primary care package. Kaya huwag niyo sabihin na hindi accredited. Accredited sila. I know that for a fact as a former mayor. No, just summing up regarding my initial presentation, PowerPoint presentation, which is very material. Miss, very short lang naman to, Mr. Chairman. In 2017, I'm just saying, itong during the presidency of President Duterte. Dr. Dineros was appointed as interim PhilHealth President and Chief Executive Officer. 1 month after, the then Secretary Obial withdrew the appointment of Dr. Dineros. At ano ang sabi ni Secretary Obial? Wini-withdraw niya sapagkat si Dr. Dineros ay nag-transfer or nag-reassign ng senior health officials. At ang sabi niya ni Dr. Dineros naman, he directed the reassignment in accordance to the declaration of President Duterte on zero tolerance, graft, and corruption. 1 month after, pagkatapos ang inappoint ay si Dr. De La Serna. Pero pagkalipas lamang ng ilang buwan, Dr. De La Serna appointment was terminated by President Duterte, being accused of costly trips while PhilHealth was incurring billions in losses. Ang losses ng PhilHealth 2018 ay umabot ng 892 billion, although in 2016, it was only 251 million. I'll stop the presentation because our resource persons cannot listen, especially the one. Sa pagkakaalis si Dr. De La Serna, newspaper accounts stated, PhilHealth officials and employees rejoice on the dismissal of De La Serna since they demanded her ouster due to alleged corruption and mismanagement. Ang sumunod naman, si Dr. Roy Ferrer. He was appointed on June 5. On October 31, 2018, 12 empleyado ng PhilHealth ang nag-file ng complaint against Dr. Ferrer. June 10, 2019, after 1 year, inappoint naman ng ating Pangulo si General Ricardo Morales. Retired General Morales viewed this designation as both a challenge and an honor for being singled out by President Duterte to fix the organization and eliminate corruption. At the crucial period when universal healthcare law was to be launched, he was confident that PhilHealth will quickly regain the public trust and confidence. Unfortunately, after 1 year, on account of the ongoing House and Senate investigations and the investigation of various agencies such as the DOJ and the Presidential Task Force Against Corruption on the irregularities in PhilHealth, General Morales stated on August 12 that even Superman might not be able to handle the problems of PhilHealth. Ang sabi niya, kahit si Superman, popuin mo dito, baka hindi niya makaya. all of us here in Congress are sympathizing with General Morales. Isang taon lamang siya sa Philhealth at nakita niya na hindi ganong kadaling resolvehin ang issue ng graft and corruption sa Philhealth. What is force? Alam niyo naman sa Philhealth, ito ang nagbabayad sa mga health needs ng ating mga kababayan at milyong-milyong mga kababayan natin ang nagko-contribute dito, including our OFWs. Kaya naman kami dito sa Kongreso ay tinutulungan namin si General Morales, yung mga taga-PhilHealth na maayos, pati na ang kawani para mailabas ang mga korupsyon at nang sa ganon makatulong kami sa pag-ayos ng PhilHealth. Kung medyo nagtatampo kayo sa aming line of questioning, this we have to do in order that PhilHealth will regain the trust of the public. At kinakailangan merong mapailan ng asunto. As much as possible, plunder if there would be evidence that would be warranted. By the way, before I adjourn, I was watching Attorney Del Rosario during the Senate investigation last Tuesday. Unfortunately, his name was alluded to as part of the mafia in the Senate investigation. Tama po ba yun, Dr. Del Rosario? And you even stated that you are willing to tell everything if there would be an executive session. Tama ba?
Please,
So kung sakaling dumating ang
Honorable
pagkakataon,
Barsaga, can you kindly reply, Attorney Rosario, for the record lang po, marinig yung boses nyo.
That is correct, Your Honor.
kung
Thank you,
sakaling magpasya ang committee ito with the blessing of Chairman Defensor, will you be willing to participate in an executive session?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman, Your Honor.
So we take advantage of his presence. Before tayo mag-adjourn or before mag-lunch, magkaroon na tayo ng executive session with Attorney Del Rosario. Sinabi nga niya, sinachat siya, pagkatapos nag-leave of absence ka ng 5 months.
That is correct, Your
Oh,
Honor.
that's correct because those were all your statements na nakita ko nang nire-replay ko ang hearing sa Senado.
Is that a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, I move.
If that
Before we
is a
have the
motion,
respect-
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
Okay, the proper time we will decide when we will conduct a executive session on this today. Yes, today we will do that. As to what time?
Pakatubasan naman ang high blood ni Attorney Del Rosario bukas or the following days.
Yes, Honorable Barsaga. Anyway,
Okay.
there's a motion duly seconded. We will do that. I just want to clarify that earlier on or last week, ang akala po natin, umaga lang tayo hanggang 2:00. Pero ngayon po, pwede naman tayo magtuloy hanggang mamaya. So let's schedule the executive session. We will continue with this, with our interpellation now. At mamaya po, kausapan din natin yung mga nasa Zoom so that they can be part of the executive committee hearing. So with that, Honorable Barsaga, thank you for that. And definitely, we thank you
I wish to
for...
be listed as the number 2 in the second round.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Second.
So, before we proceed, gusto ko lang po ulit iklaro, yung po bang sa Philippine Red Cross, tapos na po ba? Kasi I understand, nagwi-withdraw po sila dahil hindi sila nababayaran ng 700 million. Can someone from finance answer? Who will be the one in charge of the payment to the Philippine Red Cross? Ito yung mga testing po natin. Mr. Limsiaco, ikaw po ba yan ang magsasagot?
Mr. Chair, Your
Yes,
Honor,
go ahead.
I think BP Abado is with us today, who can provide us with the explanation on the case of Red Cross po.
Sige po. Kindly take the seat. Comsec, have we taken the oath of everyone here? Okay, sige po. Go ahead, please proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. On the issue of PRC, we have already paid last Tuesday around 123 million. However, they submitted a new list of billing since Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And that is the claim for the 714 million.
Pero hindi naman po sila huminto dun sa kanilang testing.
Hindi naman, sir. Hindi naman, sir.
Okay, thank
So,
you for
far,
that.
yung kwan, kare-receive pa lang kasi namin so that we cannot also process immediately while it was just submitted just 3-4 days ago.
Understood. So thank you for your reply.
Mr. Chairman, Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
you, sir.
Yes, Honorable
Since we
Remulla.
are talking about testing, no? Pwede bang itanong ko ulit yung tanong ko sa Philhealth? Can they make a policy na 48 hours lang dapat ibigay na resulta ng test? Kung hindi, wag na bayaran.
Are you asking Red Cross or PhilHealth?
I'm asking Philhealth, Mr. Chairman. 48 hours dapat may resulta na ang test. Kung hindi, wag nyo na bayaran. Kasi nasasayang lang ang pera ng taong bayan kung they take their time with the test. Tapos hindi naman real time binibigay, the person will get out of quarantine. Pag after 5 days, aalis na sa quarantine yan.
Can you look into that? Would that be in your
Alam niyo na yan, ba, Mr. Pargas, di ba? You're a
Pargas.
doctor, no?
Yes.
Yung test, pag hindi nabigay yung resulta, wala nang visa yun. Bali, wala na. Kumikita sila ngayon ng perang they don't deserve anymore. Pag hindi nabigay yung resulta, dapat wala nang bayaran. 48 hours.
Sa natatandaan ko po, tinanongin na yan ni Honorable Remulla if you can give us the policy later on. During his time, he will be asking the questions. Later on, if you can give him that the reply to his question. So now we proceed to the Honorable Paul Dasa. Honorable Dasa is recognized. Okay, so the Honorable Dasa is not in Zoom. We will ask him later. The Honorable B.H. Herrera D. is recognized. Congresswoman B.H., are you there? Okay, go ahead, Congresswoman B.H. Congresswoman B.H., kindly unmute.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, gusto ko lang din, well, mag-executive session yata kayo as called for by Congressman Barzaga. But gusto ko lang kasing medyo linawin, medyo related naman to dun sa question ni Cong B.T. Barzaga kanina, is that yung premise ng IRM is with regards to yun nga, calamities and all that. So, hindi pa rin malinaw sa akin how it came about or ano ang legal basis para isama yung mga dialysis centers tsaka lying in. Kasama ba ito sa executive session nila sasagutin? Kasi gusto ko lang malaman ano yung tinutungtungang basehan kung bakit pwedeng isama ang lying in tsaka dialysis center doon sa IRM regulation.
Dr. Pargas, kindly reply.
Mr. Chair, Madam Congresswoman, again, because our IRM, especially for this one, is on the pandemic, yun pong pagbibigay ng IRM is not only for COVID cases, but for all cases that are affected with this pandemic. Kaya po, even po doon sa part po ng liquidation ng IRM, it is not just for claims ng COVID, but for all cases that were actually treated or admitted in a certain facility during this time of pandemic. Again, ang pinanggagalingan po namin dito is yung pong COVID, yung pong kabuuan ng operasyon ng isang ospital ay maaapektuhan ng COVID cases. Kung kaya po lahat po ng pagkakasakit, including the dialysis, and even the maternities that should not be going to the hospital right now because of the COVID, maaapektuhan din po. So again, the IRM po is because of the result of the pandemic, not only because of COVID cases.
So parang sinasabi mo, dahil yung kinoconsider na emergency or disaster na situation is the COVID, so lahat ng pwedeng pumasok dito at lahat ng pwedeng mag-apply, pwede yung i-entertain.
Lahat po nung pwedeng maapektuhan noon pong pagkakaroon ng COVID, so hindi lang po ito because of, hindi lang po yung sakit na COVID yung kino-cover nung ating IRM, kundi lahat po nung maaaring maapektuhan pagdating po sa operasyon ng isang ospital. And yun pong operasyon ng isang ospital, hindi lang naman po COVID, yung pong kanilang gagamutin during the time of pandemic, but all other cases.
Pero kasi,
Including po yung dialysis and, sorry, Mr. Chair.
well, anyway, through you, Mr. Chair, parang ang nakikita ko lang kasi is, kaya din natin minadali na magkaroon ng IRM is because to help the hospitals cope with the COVID situation. Diba? Katulad nga na sinasabi natin, kung yung mga dialysis centers naman, naniningil sila, tapos tumatanggi sila sa COVID patients para i-dialysis. So parang hindi nakatulong yung IRM dun sa mga ospital in this time of pandemic. That's why I agree with Kong PD Barzaga. We want to know answers to that question. Kung bakit nauna pa silang bigyan ng pera kesa dun sa mga, it's not a matter of, ito po yung naunang nag-submit, ito po yung unang nag-comply eh. Ang Philhealth dapat, alam nyo kung sino yung mga dapat ninyong unahing ospital na higit na nangangailangan because of this situation.